going to go to prison. And if you do, it'll be for something very, very small. It wouldn't be nothing what the people think. I don't think he's going to go nowhere long. And at the same time, you got to look at it. The best witness they had is KPD. KPD been informant for a very, very long time. And KPD is getting ready to go to trial for the murder of Tupac. KPD said it, everybody else know it, and KPD says the money came from Puffy, Tupac, and myself. So if they really wanted Puffy that bad, KPD would have put a deal with them, got on that stand, and broke it down. That'd have been the RICO right there. That'd have been higher right there.
One man to the next, and I got a lot of respect for you, Suge. I got so much respect for you, bro, because when this East Coast, West Coast walk could have been shut down, Pac was living, Big was living, Eric B, Big D, y'all set up there and y'all was gonna set up a meeting. Everybody who had something to do with it was supposed to show up. And Puff refused to. You didn't, brother. You wanted this shit to be over with. Even though you didn't f with Puff, y'all wasn't dealing with each other no more. I remember when you and Pac was in the car behind the House of Blues. You was in the red Rolls Royce, Pac was in the white. I was in the car when Puff rolled up on you and said, yo, Suge, we got any problems down here? And you said, bro, I don't know any problems you got. That was even after Jake was. You said, brother, I don't know any problems you got.
Jaguar Wright has begun targeting every woman who has ever worked with Diddy. Reports are emerging that Diddy was operating as an FBI informant, and now everyone associated with him is trying to distance themselves. Major figures like Jennifer Lopez, Oprah, and Ellen, some of the biggest names in Hollywood, are pulling back. And this is only the beginning. The cameras have gone dark, PR teams remain silent, and escape routes are being mapped out. From Oprah to Jennifer Lopez, panic is spreading as Jaguar continues naming A-list figures and raising allegations about Diddy's cooperation with investigators. We will break down every name, every clip, and what may come next.
She had a gun in her pocketbook. She had gunshot residue on her hands the night that Natanya was shot at that club. For all we know, that bullet came from the gun that was in her hand. And not once has she spoken up for the betterment of that woman. Not once has she donated to her family or for her medical bills that she's still paying, or say something in her defense to stop Puffy from gaslighting her and trying to put hits out on her because he was afraid that maybe one day they would open the case and she still has the bullet fragments in her face. Like J-Lo has said nothing. Nothing. You really thought that just running off and marrying Ben Affleck was going to take you out of the Diddy downfall? But it saved her the first time though, didn't it? Because as soon as that club was over and as soon as they finished interrogating her, when she sat there and cried like a baby, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. Benny Medina put her with that drunk white boy until she ran him off. Like, there are people sitting here screaming out at the toll that the atrocities that Sean Combs has done to their lives, and you're trying to avoid your part in the story or the fact that you never spoke up. You know, you want to tell people on the low and put it out there that the movie was about you getting away from Puffy, but you didn't think about the trail of girls that you left behind.
The first person Jaguar Wright has targeted is Beyonce, and she has been speaking out against her for years. Jaguar claims she has long warned people about the so-called Queen Bey, alleging that Beyonce did not simply stand by while Jay-Z and Diddy hosted their twisted parties. She actively participated. She was present with Jay-Z at all of Diddy's gatherings. According to one victim, Beyonce witnessed the abuse carried out by Diddy and Jay-Z. Instead of reporting Jay-Z's crimes, she allegedly helped him and Diddy conceal everything and even profited from the blackmail. Since marrying Jay-Z, Beyonce has continued to win Grammy Awards one after another.
Epstein, P. Diddy, what do you think is going to happen with all that now?
I knew a lot of people who knew Jeffrey Epstein, like a lot. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, thank God. I certainly knew a lot of people who knew him, and like a lot, like more than 10. Jeffrey Epstein was not considered like some far out sinister figure in the world that I lived in. I mean, I'm just being totally honest about this. He was like this kind of interesting guy who had this kind of rotating salon at his house off Fifth Avenue in New York, and there was always the Israeli prime minister and former presidents and like just interesting people, I did not understand what that was about at all. And so when he died, I was like, oh, poor guy, himself in prison. And then I got a call from his brother just randomly, and his brother said, he did not commit suicide. Was really shocked by that. And I thought, well, maybe his brother's crazy. So this set off a multi-year journey for me that really changed my views about a lot of different things. And the bottom line is Jeffrey Epstein was, and not only murdered, but he was murdered in the most secure federal lockup in Midtown Manhattan in the country. And so
3 days after Oprah publicly supported victims of sexual assault in the wake of numerous allegations against Harvey Weinstein, singer Seal Instagrammed this meme showing Winfrey kissing the disgraced mogul. It reads, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution."
Please welcome Seal!
The 54-year-old who's appeared on Oprah's show captioned his post, "Oh, I forgot. That's right. You'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starry-eyed actresses. My bad." While Weinstein maintains his innocence, Seal hasn't commented further, and Oprah has not responded.
This moment is a really powerful time for everybody to get woke.
Fans have come to her defense, pointing out Winfrey is a sexual survivor. They also posted pics of Seal's ex, Heidi Klum, kissing Weinstein too.
Jaguar went on national television with Piers Morgan, where she openly revealed allegations against Beyonce and Jay-Z. In response, Morgan received a cease and desist letter, but no defamation lawsuit was ever filed. Their hesitation is clear. They know that taking legal action could force everything Jaguar has claimed into the public record. As one user on X observed, "It's strange that none of them have moved against Jaguar Wright legally. She has been making these accusations for years, yet there are no defamation cases, no NDAs, and no lasting cease and desist orders."
He was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, "Well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it?" All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, "Yo, I support them," because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z, we the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff, but you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward and say, I support him.
People have lost this moment. I think this is a moment where no matter what business you work in, there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my position, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile, I've got to look the other way, I got to pretend he didn't say that, I got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over.
Are over. And if it happens to you back in the day, you would say, sometimes you're not even aware what he just said wasn't really inappropriate.
I know you've had a couple moments.
Where you just think, what did he just say?
Yes, I remember Gail had a moment when she came and said to me what somebody said that was so inappropriate. I was like, oh my God, you can sue over that. But
and all I said was, what did you say? And then they repeated it.
Yes, it's terrible.
I just sat there typing with my 20-something-year-old.
Pretend you didn't hear it.
Yes.
You pretend it's okay. You pretend you didn't.
No, it isn't. You're right, Jeff. You're absolutely right.
But a lot of women have been silenced, and I know.
But I think it's going to change.
Being a victim of child sexual abuse, that when you feel like you cannot be heard, and then other people start speaking out, it makes you feel like, oh, now I can speak out too.
Their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. You know, I don't know what it is, but, you know, several of my, you know, I had a movie called Barbershop, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black White, and it was a very controversial show. And once again, they had the whole cast on, but I wasn't invited. And so I don't know. I don't know what that's
on Oprah's show.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's.
But Oprah's obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know. You know, that's something that I would love to find out. But I can't tell you, you know, if there's a single thing that I've done or said to her.
Have you noticed that it is more controversial to criticize Oprah than to burn the American flag?
Really?
Seems that way. I've never heard anybody criticize Oprah.
Naomi Campbell's name has also surfaced in connection with Diddy and allegations of abuse. She has spent more than 20 years closely associated with him. Long before that partnership, however, she was investigated for her ties to notorious child predators Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
P. Diddy Combs' mom, Janice, waving to the crowd, his children breaking into smiles as they leave the federal courthouse in downtown Manhattan after the stunning verdict. Shouts of congratulations fill the air as they climb into a waiting van.
Congratulations, Mama!
In 1998, Naomi Campbell was convicted of assault after attacking her assistant, beating and choking her in a fit of rage. Since that time, she has faced 10 additional charges in cases involving violence against employees, and on one occasion, she even spat on police officers who intervened. Her record of abuse and aggression began around the same period she became closely associated with Diddy. Despite the repeated incidents, like Diddy, she never served jail time. Nearly a year before the raid on Diddy's home, Naomi once again appeared in court, this time for scratching a photographer's eye, and received a 6-month suspended prison sentence.
Losing their mind.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia. Could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown out.
Fled the US, bound for the UK after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market, and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise to most.
Really bad. If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Ellen DeGeneres has been seen rocking a new hair color since moving to the UK. The comedian changed her signature blonde look to brunette as she was seen enjoying a night out with friends at a pub called The Farmer's Dog. Ellen went out with her wife, Portia de Rossi, and a few friends, including the Torn singer Natalie Imbruglia. Sources told TMZ earlier this week that Ellen and Portia moved to England because of Donald Trump's re-election. They have reportedly settled into their new home in the southwest region of England, but they purchased the property before the election.
If Naomi Campbell's violent history seemed shocking, what surfaced about Demi Moore was even more disturbing. A longtime friend of Diddy, Moore was accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old boy back in 1982. A resurfaced video shows her kissing her former General Hospital co-star, Philip Tanzini, during his 14th birthday celebration. In the footage, Moore can be seen making out with him multiple times while declaring, "I love Philip. He's one of my most favorite people."
Demi Moore, she revealed in her memoir that she was sexually assaulted at the age of 15, writing that her mother let the abuser in their home. Well, today Demi talked to Howard Stern more about this on his Sirius XM radio show.
You say you pushed it away. You just
I
recently.
pushed it away because I felt like it was my fault, I felt like I had behaved in a way that was
provocative
and mature, like I really knew a lot. And I never really looked at myself as being a kid. And so I never looked at it as, I saw it as an unfortunate and
Yet he forced you into it.
I was very embarrassed by it. In all honesty, I think that the shame I carried because of the rape made me afraid to feel I could comfortably express myself sexually.
It makes me just remember the conversation that I had with her where she talked about the purpose of her writing this book was to share her story in hopes that it would empower other young women. She did talk about a lot of other things to Howard Stern. She said she auditioned for Top Gun, obviously didn't get.
The most disturbing element in Demi Moore's story is that she was also a victim herself. At just 15 years old, her mother sold her to a stranger for $500. In an interview promoting her book, Moore revealed that her mother would take her to bars where men could look her over and then pay to exploit her. She recalled the trauma vividly, saying she still remembers the experience, and later learned that her mother not only knew about it, but had actually allowed it to happen.
Lois is the greatest, and I'm putting in a box.
Oh, wait a minute. Thank you. Yes.
Demi, I love you.
Sing another. Sing another. See, no one call it baby.
Okay, one more time. Somewhere over the rainbow.
Why do you think everybody's come out?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe just because I love them all and I hope they all love me.
We do love him.
And I love them.
I think it's for the publicity. You're out of your mind.
Absolutely, because he's one of my most favorite people.
How long have you been working on the show?
Almost a month and a half.
What's your role?
I'm Listening Love.
I'm Philip Tanzini and I play Jeremy and you're stealing my part.
We're moving on to interview number 2 here.
Oh, okay.
Because I love Philip and he's
in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughters. I'm glad. I'm sure you're glad.
Among the few celebrities who have actually fled the United States, Ellen DeGeneres stands out. In 2024, shortly after Diddy's Miami mansion was raided, she announced she was leaving the country for good. The timing coincided directly with Diddy's arrest, and fans quickly noticed another change. Ellen, who had been blonde throughout her career, altered her appearance and relocated to England in an attempt to start over.
We all know Naomi has a temper.
Today, the 45-year-old supermodel was found guilty in a Sicilian court for assaulting a photographer. She was given a 6-month suspended prison term, so she escapes the dreaded orange jumpsuit.
What makes the situation even more striking is that, with Diddy's release approaching, Ellen appears to be preparing for a comeback. The same figure who announced she was leaving the United States for good after Diddy's arrest is now reportedly returning, just as Diddy has been declared not guilty.
For Epstein activities. Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend. Most people, especially this awful son, wanted me to be in jail. And I'm not saying what my behavior was correct. I think that everyone during this period of terminal 5 madness was upset and irate. And I guess I just took it.
Oprah Winfrey is another figure working to distance herself as much as possible from Diddy. Her ties to Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Diddy are widely known. She was close friends with all three, and photos even show her kissing Weinstein. Yet the moment Weinstein was exposed, Oprah quickly shifted her stance and acted as though she had never known him.
Happens with exposures. You make yourself vulnerable to all kinds of attacks, seen and unseen. What happened to my friend? When he passed away, there was $250,000 on my head and $150,000 on his. But what if I had decided to go back with my head held low and said, Sean, I'm willing to play the game, and then found a way to get inside of him and move
platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as there's something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invite her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored, but like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologize to Jay.
Is it truly a coincidence that Oprah so often appears connected to individuals later exposed in abuse scandals, only to publicly claim she stands firmly against such crimes? The pattern is difficult to ignore. Each time a major case comes to light, Oprah seems to have had some form of acquaintance or friendship with those involved. The person most closely tied to Diddy, and even linked to a police investigation with him, is Jennifer Lopez. She and Diddy dated for nearly 3 years during the 1990s. In 1999, however, Lopez was present at a nightclub incident involving Diddy that left one person dead and another injured, an event that received widespread media coverage. While no charges were ever filed against her, Diddy later faced legal scrutiny connected to the case.
Beyonce, do you just as evil in your opinion? Has she done things you know of? Is it Jay-Z?
I know a lot of things that shameless hat has done, but her greatest sin is vanity. And I'm going to say this about you now, baby. Everybody who knows you are dumb as a sack of hair. Truth is, if it wasn't for your singing and your dancing,
You would have never been anything more than a shampoo girl in your mother's shop. You ain't got the common sense of a damn dog.
But that's not criminal.
Huh?
It's not criminal. Is there?
No. I'm going to get you there.
Oh, I see. She's just too dumb to know what she's in for.
No, she's just dumb enough to be down with whatever's going on.
Okay.
She's probably one of the most least empathetic people I've ever met in my life.
Suge Knight, the former head of Death Row Records, has made striking allegations about Diddy. He claims that Diddy was never the untouchable mogul the public believed him to be. According to Suge, Diddy maintained an arrangement with federal authorities, which may explain how he repeatedly managed to avoid criminal charges.
Room in Diddy's mansions were wired with cameras, and he had some of the footage, he had some of the pictures, and he displayed those in the lawsuit that came out. And this was used for blackmail material. They'd bring in these people. A lot of these people were also aspiring young artists in the music industry. And then these parties were sponsored by Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO. This goes all the way to the top. And so you get these people in compromising situations. The drinks were laced, the videotapes were hot. And then at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning, what did I do? And then they have compromising material on you. And then they can guide your career. They could kill your career, but they got you. And it wasn't just people in the music business. As you said, there were athletes, there were celebrities, there were politicians, people from the royal family. And we were also told by the former bodyguard that Diddy was an FBI informant. Whoa. So he was a snitch.
What happens next remains uncertain. How far could these revelations go? And who might be named in the spotlight next? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next name Jaguar exposes could be the one Hollywood can no longer ignore. You're watching Taylor Tell All. Stay tuned, because the next revelation Jaguar drops could be the one Hollywood can no longer ignore. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. _.